Jagrative, Jam Masters. There are different reasons to involve yourself in yoga and spirituality and growth. One is that people have problems. Their minds cause trouble. Their hearts have trouble. Life can be a problem. So basically what people try to do, normal people, regular people, is to get life a way they need it to be so it doesn't bother them. We've talked about that before. That's what the world tends to do. So let's take a step back for a moment. The world does not bother you. It doesn't bother anybody. The world itself, the unfolding of events and circumstances and weather and people, they don't bother you. They bother something inside of you, and that bothers you. Two people can be standing next to a house and it burns down, and one person couldn't care less and the other person's freaking out because it was their house. Same thing with relationships. One person gets all upset because somebody's walking with somebody else, the other person doesn't even notice. It's not the event, the actual outside event, that is causing trouble. The event comes in to everybody the same. But then depending on what's already inside, that's what causes the problem. You have stuff inside of you, and the event hits that stuff, and that's what causes the problem. That's a first foundational understanding to realize. If you're a Franciscan monk and you lose all your money, you're ecstatic. You're not supposed to have any money. You didn't have to renounce it. It went away. The market crashed. Okay? If you're not a Franciscan monk and you're planning on doing things with this money, you freak out. In both cases, the numbers changed outside. What is it that caused the disturbance? The fact that that change outside hit something inside, and that got disturbed, and that's what disturbs you. I've quoted you in the new book. There's a line that's come to be my favorite, which says, the moment in front of you is not disturbing you. You're disturbing yourself about the moment in front of you. So that's a foundational understanding, which most people don't have, because they're just so busy trying to get what they want and avoid what they don't want, that they don't notice this. They actually believe that the outside did this. No, it takes two to tango. It takes the outside to unfold a certain way, and for your inside to be predicated, already set up to have desires and fears and preferences and hopes and dreams and concepts and views. That's all inside stuff. And when the outside comes in and it doesn't match that stuff, it gets disturbed inside. When the outside comes in and it does match that stuff, it feels wonderful inside. So when you turn to spirituality at any level, what you're basically saying is, instead of totally working on the outside and forgetting the inside, just, I need the outside to be a certain way. I need you not to be that way. I need you to be this way. I need this house to be that. I need every single thing to be where I need to be. And then you put all your effort outside. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just over time it doesn't work. Why? Because the outside won't behave. Have you noticed? Has anybody noticed yet that it doesn't always be the way you want it to be? And so if you don't understand what we just talked about, you figure, oh my God, my life is ruined, it's terrible, or I need to keep this because it makes me happy, how will I keep it? You struggle outside. All right. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's not evil. You don't go to hell. You just get to live in hell while you're alive. And so that's basically what happens if you don't, at least to some degree, turn to what we're going to call spirituality. When I use the word yoga, I mean spirituality. So what is that? Well, it's taking the truth we just shared, which is that it's not the outside itself that is causing the problem. It's that something inside of you didn't want it to be that way, or did want it to be that way. And it's the mixture of those two that caused the problem or the solution. So spirituality says, okay, fine. Doesn't mean I'm not going to work with the outside, but I can work with the inside. What if I decide that the patterns I have inside are difficult to live with, and they get hit by lots of things? I have trouble with relationships. because I think the person's supposed to be exactly the way I want them to be all the time. They should come home in the mood I want them to come home, and they should understand when I want to be alone. They should understand when I want to be doted upon. So you expect the other person to be the way you need them to be to support what's going on inside of you at any given time. You had a good day at work, you had a bad day at work, this happened, that happened, and you just expect this person, I married this person, therefore they have to be that way. Well, that's why you have marriage counselors, and that's why people have divorces, and that's why it doesn't always work out so well. So when you turn to yoga, you turn to spirituality, you became wise enough to remember our principle, which is it's not the outside that's wrong. It's not what the person is doing outside. It's how it hits you. Okay? You have to start with where you are, and then it either works or doesn't. So therefore, you begin to decide. It doesn't mean I'm not going to work with the outside. Don't think that it's renunciation. I keep telling you that, but people don't hear. It's not renunciation. You're going to be in the world, and you're going to work with it some. But now you have an advantage over everybody else because you caught on that I'm the problem too. And it's not just what the person is doing or what the job is doing, what my boss is doing, what the finances are, what my car is like. It's how it hits me. Therefore, I have the right to change me. Not just change the outside. There, that's the core, that's the crux. That's what it means to wake up spiritually, is you realize I have two battlefronts, not just one. I feel sorry for the person who decides I have to make the outside be the way I want. I have to find the job that turns me on. I have to find the spouse that will be the way I need them to be. I have to get the finances so that I can travel because I love to travel. And otherwise I'm not happy. I'm depressed. It's not being the way I want. Whew. That's tough. Maybe you've been there. That's tough. And so the person who's spiritual wakes up and says, it is not that I'm not going to work with the outside. I'm not renouncing. I'm just being wise enough to understand there's two battlefronts, and I get to work on both, or either, at any given time. I get to find out what's the best thing to do. So a lot of times I give you the example of weather. In the new book, I make a statement, Living Untethered, I make a statement. One of your greatest gurus is the weather. Why? Because you have to accept and surrender to what it does. You complain all you want. Run away, hide, do whatever you want. When it's raining, it's raining. When it's cold, it's cold. When it's hot, it's hot. The weather wins. And you have to decide, am I going to bother myself about that? Or that's a good battlefront for me to work on me, because I ain't working on it. And if I do, I'm neurotic. I have to move. It's too humid. I'll go to Arizona. Like, my God, you go crazy trying to make it match you. The weather doesn't match you, as you notice. The weather does not match you. It matches this thing called meteorological science. It does what it does when it does it because of everything, because of the way the wind came across the Alps a month ago determines what the weather's going to be like in Kansas. You know, you're not in charge of the weather. So there's a perfect example of these two fronts that you can work on to be okay. That one, you realize, okay, I'm a wise person. I'm not going to change the weather. Therefore, I better change me. Oh, what a wonderful realization. And so the question becomes, how do I do that? But I'm not going to tell you yet. I want to give a few more examples. That's an extreme situation where there's no benefit to be bothered by the weather. There's no benefit. It's not going to change it. If it's raining out and you have to get out and go to a store and you're going to get wet, sorry, Charlie. That's what it is. And so you either fix yourself and say, I need to learn how to enjoy the weather. Are you better off enjoying the weather or not enjoying the weather? It's a quiz. Multiple choice, A or B. Are you going to be a happier person if you enjoy the weather that's happening or if you don't enjoy the weather that's happening? There's no question about it. Therefore, it's silly to not enjoy it because that means you won't enjoy yourself. The weather didn't do that. You did that. You didn't bother fixing yourself and working with yourself to say, if I change what's going on inside of me, I can enjoy the weather. Then we're all okay. Weather's okay. I'm okay. The kids are okay. And everything's wonderful. All right? Now, not everything is 100% like that. There are things that happen, say in a relationship, where a person has certain tendencies that just don't work well with you. But the rest of them work really well. So you start deciding, I'm married. You just be strict with yourself. I got married and I got 3 kids. Stop complaining for a minute. Are you going to leave this marriage and these kids? No. Then why are you thinking about it? why don't you sit there and say, I'm better off adjusting myself to learn to get along with this person, to learn to, you start that one, to learn to not be complaining. What benefit is it for you to complain about your spouse? What you're basically saying is, this is how you are. I didn't realize that. Maybe I wouldn't have married you, but I did. And we have 3 kids. So this is how you are, and it's hitting me the wrong way. All right? Is that his or her fault, or is that your fault? Now it's harder than the weather, isn't it? Okay? You start realizing, believe it or not, this is spiritual growth. You're just being logical. You're optimizing your life. You're just sitting there saying, I'm not going to leave it to random. And then you start doing some interesting stuff. You start seeing, well, I wonder why I don't like that he slurps the soup. That's a good innocent one, okay? Why do I not like? Why does it irritate me so much? Other people slurp their soup. Other people have relationships like that and so on. They do all kinds of things. Why does it bother me? Now you're ready to go to the next level. Not only are you seeing that there's 2 places you can work on improving your happiness, your utility of life. One is change the outside and the other is change the inside. But you've caught on that you can question, I know why the outside's the way it is. I know there's all these factors that cause the outside to be the way it is. The market went bad, and so the company's not making as much money, so people are getting fired. There's reasons that things are happening, just like there's reason the weather's that way. And it's disturbing me. Let's go back to the soup. So you ask a simple question, why does it disturb me when he slurps the soup? Now again, you can spread that out to whatever he or she does. Generally, it's not going to be slurping the soup, but it's going to be something in it, all right? Why is that bothering me? Instead of, what do I do to make it stop? Why is it bothering me? That's spirituality. Not, what can I do to make it be the way I need it to be so I don't be bothered? What can I do to look in here and say, why am I being bothered by this? And to make a very long story short, I'm going to tell you a secret. You're going to find out that it's you. That you had past experiences that left impressions on you. Uncle Tom slurped the soup, or Mommy sat there and said, don't go near anyone who slurps soup. You know, you just had all this stuff laid on your head one way or another. You got programmed. Other people don't mind it. Like, let's say there's a real prissy, went to finishing school and you hate all that stuff. And you get to take the guy home to show your parents and he slurps the soup and you just love it to pieces. Your mother's going to get so upset. It can be anything, can't it? And so you look at it and you say, do I want to be this way? So you did that with the weather. You did that with your spouse. You did that with the kids. That doesn't look like the kid's going to go to Harvard, right? And much more into other things, you know, skateboarding or whatever the heck it is. And you just start looking at it and saying, well, I don't know what will end up happening, but he's only 4. So he probably doesn't have to go to Harvard yet, okay? And he doesn't have to be a lawyer, right? He can be a skateboarder for a while. And so basically you just start looking at yourself and realizing you are making a hell out of your life because you think life is supposed to match you. But it doesn't, does it? And that's why you struggle so much. Doesn't mean you don't work with it. I keep saying that. And we'll talk about how that balance works. Doesn't mean you're not working with it. It means you're looking inside and realizing you're the main problem. The fact that you have all these preferences and hopes and dreams and concepts and views and likes and dislikes and desires and fears, you got a lot of those, don't you? The more of those you have, the unhappier you are. The more concepts, opinions, views, likes, dislikes, preferences, desires, fears, go on, fill the basket with those, and I'm telling you, have trouble every moment of your life. Why? Because life's not going to match those. It just doesn't happen that way, all right? There's 7.5 billion people on the planet Earth, and there's just one Earth. Why in the world is it going to be your way? There's nothing. You just made it up, and you start looking at it and realizing, I made up these things. Why would the world match this? And you're going to find that it doesn't. And so you go out there and try to manipulate and fight and struggle and do all kinds of things to make it be that way and get upset when it's not. Spirituality says, we're going to work with the outside. I'll come back to that soon. First, take a look. What if you didn't be that way inside? What if you like the weather? What if you like slurping soup? What if you like the fact that the kids feel free enough to try different things and go through stuff, change their majors 6 times? All right? What if I'm okay with that? What if I were okay? That doesn't mean I'm not going to work with it, but it's not disturbing me. That's the difference. I'm going to paint that picture for you. If it is disturbing you, then your disturbance is going to make you act outside. So you're bringing bad energy into your life. You're bringing bad energy into the world. because this is disturbed energy. It's reactive, disturbed energy. And you're trying to make something positive happen. You don't make positive things happen by being disturbed. It's not true that anger is a good thing. Anger is not a good thing. There's much more constructive and productive ways to work with things than to get angry or to get insulted or to get hurt. The more you're working with reactive, disturbed energy, and that's the reason you're acting outside, you're just making a mess. You're making a mess. If he slurps the soup, he said, "That's it. No more soup slurping in here. I'm leaving." The kids are crying. And what are you doing? Wouldn't you have been better off working with yourself so that you could look at the situation and say, I see I have this pattern that doesn't like the weather, doesn't like soup slurping, that doesn't like the fact that somebody opened their door and touched my car. Whatever it is, millions of things happen every single day, and it's disturbing me. Are you better off working with yourself first? That's what spirituality is. It is working with yourself first before you try to take this negative energy that arose inside and push it out into the world to try to get things the way you want. I don't know how long you've been around the block, but I think most of you have been around the block to understand that don't work. It doesn't really work to manipulate people and try to make them be the way you want. The best that they can do is suppress the way they were going to be, and that doesn't usually work very well for you or them, because you're afraid they'll do it again. Then you're afraid they're only doing it because you told them to or told them to sleep on the couch. The more you do this punishing and manipulating, the less you have a real relationship. You've told the person to be like you, but they're not like you. They're like them. And it's going to come back out, isn't it? One way of suppressing is inside. Another way of suppressing is outside. I'm going to make you behave the way I want, and you're never going to say anything I don't want, or you're going to pay for it. You're just suppressing the energy. That person's forced to suppress. It's going to blow up. It's not going to work. So what's the alternative? Work with yourself. That's spirituality. Spirituality is called work on yourself. Make the changes. Rumi, great Persian poet, had a really beautiful, beautiful line. He said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I was trying to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm trying to change myself." That is the definition of spirituality. I don't care whether you're meditating, doing yoga, doing mantra, reading the Bible, the Quran, or the Gita. You can do anything you want. If you're not doing this, you ain't doing nothing. Spirituality is about changing yourself, not suppressing, not manipulating, controlling yourself, but you are capable of changing what it's like in there. And that's what spirituality is. It's however you go about it. I always say to you, whatever you're doing, go to therapy, do yoga. There's all these different things you can try. What I care about is why are you trying them, right? What spirituality is about is sitting there saying, I'm in here and I got problems. Outside's got its own problems, but I got problems. I can't handle the weather. I can't handle the soup slurping. I can't handle burping in the thing. I can't handle if somebody talks when I don't want them to. I can't handle the restaurants playing the music I didn't want them to. I can't handle it. I took my friends, wait till you go to this restaurant. It's going to be so beautiful. And they weren't serving the special that I had, and it wasn't good. I'm embarrassed. Like being like that? Like having problems like that? You have them, don't you? Okay? That's what it means to not be okay inside. And so, like I said, I keep coming back to it. Either you try to don't take your friends to restaurants anymore. What are you going to do, lock yourself up and be afraid of everything? Yes. Right? So basically you decide, okay, there's the outside. I can work with it. We'll talk about that later, how much. But there's this inside that is very sensitive and gets bothered by a lot of things, and it makes me go outside out of fear and desire, etc., to manipulate people, places, and things, and to worry all the time. I worry all the time about what? That it won't be the way I want, or it will be the way I don't want. And you just realize this is not healthy. It's not good. So I need to change it so that it is healthy. I want to go outside because I feel love, and I want to express the love outside. How about you? I want to go outside because I'm inspired. I'm just passionate about going to work or doing my art or doing something, right? And I just love doing it. Now you're bringing good energy out there. That is not the same as attempting to manipulate the outside because you're not okay inside. That's the line. People always ask me, but when am I supposed to do something outside? Worry about why you're doing it, not what you're doing. That's the question of purity and impurity, not the action. It's not the action. It's the motive behind the action. So if you are sensitive, and wake up you are, and you get disturbed by a lot of things, wake up you do. I'm not talking about some big giant things, or he divorced you. I'm talking about every single day, every little thing bothers you. I don't like the way he's driving. I don't like there are too many trucks on the highway. Oh my God, there used to be so many trucks on the highway. And the weather, and your hair, and the aging. Do I need to list everything before you admit that you're having problems? So you get down to the point where you realize, I got a problem in here. And of course, if I have a problem in here, it's going to get hit by the outside, because the outside doesn't match my problems. All right, so now we're there. Can you change the inside? Can you change the inside? Of course you can change the inside. Where do you think it came from? You built that. You did that. You were in high school and you're dating someone named Johnny, and he ran off with someone named Sue, and you don't like Johnnies and you don't like Sues. You don't realize it. You go out on a date, right? What's your name? Johnny. You mean Jonathan? No, they call me Johnny. You're close. If you don't think it's true, go to a high school reunion after 20 years and see what happens when you meet these different people they haven't seen for 20 years. See if you don't react the same as you did 20 years ago when you're in high school. You carry this stuff inside of you. I've been telling you this every time I've talked to you lately. You did this, right? You didn't do it on purpose. You didn't realize what you were doing. If something bothered you, you kept it inside of you, didn't you? Is it not true if you have an argument with a friend, and then let's say you're at the university and you're walking down a plaza and you see them, and you had a tough argument yesterday, do you ever walk the other way? Do you ever avoid anybody because you don't feel comfortable seeing them? That's a problem. That's a problem. You stored a problem inside of you that happened 3 days ago, 5 days ago, 6 years ago, 20 years ago. You are storing your issues inside of you. That's why you have these preferences. They are not natural. They're not, this is God guiding me. They are not, right? They are straight psychology. Just go take a psych course. An event took place, it came in, it didn't hit you right, and you suppressed it. You said, I can't handle this, I don't want to deal with this. In other words, I can't handle this. What does that mean? It can't pass through me. It stays inside of me. Lots of events pass through you all the time. Trees go by and cars go by and people go by and all kinds of things happen. And you don't store it inside, but there's stuff you do store inside, don't you? And it comes back up, doesn't it? And you dream about it and you wake up in the morning worrying that I might see this person again. And what will I say? All that yakety yak that goes on in there. What will I say if I see them? And she's friends with Harry and I like Harry, but I don't want to see her. And they're always together. What do I do? You're going to find out you're neurotic. You're going to find out it's a mess in there. Why? Because you stored the mess in there. The final question I ultimately ask people, if you store everything that bothered you in the past inside of you, what do you think it's going to be like in there? You stored issues, you stored problems, you stored disturbances. It's going to be disturbed, and it is disturbed. Mine's not. Why? I do positive thinking. Why? Why do you do positive thinking? Because it's disturbed. I was started telling you, I want to make sure I get to the higher stuff, but there's layers of spirituality. So the first place is not spiritual, it's worldly. You're just out there trying to manipulate the world so you don't get bothered. And it doesn't work, you get bothered anyways. Then the second level is you caught on, wait a minute, it takes two to tango. It has to have disturbed something inside of me, and I can change that. Then you start to understand how it got so disturbed inside. Because you stored everything that ever bothered you inside of you. People have hobbies. They collect things. Stamps, spoons, coins. You decided to collect bad experiences. Didn't you? You stored these bad experiences inside of you. And then you wonder why you have so many issues. So you wake up. And we talk about how do I change? You don't change by putting something on top of that. You're not a fake, you're not a fraud. That's not what we're talking about. You don't put a mask in front of you, I changed. That's not change. Change is to understand why it is the way it is and change that. The root is you stored all these things that disturb you inside of you. Now anything that reminds you of it or looks even similar to it or you can tie it together somehow disturbs you. It just all ties together. And so basically you realize what I need to do is clean up inside. And that's what spirituality is. That is spirituality. The way you make it so that you do your work inside is to work at the root. which is to understand I stored this stuff inside of me, and therefore things are bothering me. I need to stop storing stuff inside of me. I always talk like this, so I'll go very quickly past this. How do I do that? Not I have to go down to the deepest recesses of my subconscious and figure out what mommy and daddy did or my sister. No. Don't do that. I mean, you can do that if that's what's happening, but you don't have to do that. What you do is you start with your everyday experiences. And if something happens, even the littlest thing that you can see closes you or disturbs you or gets you somewhat upset, work with that. Just take the opinion, I don't want to store any more in here because I know that's what causes all this junk in here. So you just work with it. Then you can do positive thinking because now you're doing it for a good reason. You're doing it to neutralize. You're neutralizing the things that are coming in so they don't get stored inside of you. Just say something nice. Neutralize the negativity. Otherwise, you're going to store the negativity inside of you. And don't say, but it's how I really feel. You really feel that way because it hits your negativity you already stored inside. It just builds on top of each other. Go to a Chinese or Italian restaurant and get sick. I guarantee you it's going to be a while before you go Chinese or Italian. It was one restaurant. It was one thing. You've eaten Italian or Chinese thousands of times in your whole life. All of a sudden, no. A little weird, aren't we? The example I used to use is go drive down 39th and 43rd, whatever it is, intersection, and have somebody run a light while you're driving and ram on your brakes and skid around. You don't hit them. You did really good. I want to see what happens next time you drive through an intersection. I want to see if your heart speeds up. I want to see if you worry. I want to see if you even will drive down that intersection ever again. You know how many times you drove past that intersection before that happened? Thousands and thousands. And all of a sudden, one incident, and all of a sudden you got it all figured out. This is a dangerous intersection. You start marching with posters, petitioning the commission. We need 3 lights at this intersection. And you start catching on. These things leave impressions on you. And pretty soon you're a mess. And so you start to neutralize them. So when that happens, you ram on your brakes, and you pull aside and you get hit right away. Wow, am I a good driver? Wow, was that neat? That was more exciting than the fair, the rides at the fair. The car spun around, and I held it together. Wow, that was a neat experience. Why can't you do that? I guarantee you it's going to change your entire life. Now you understand why you do practices. To change the garbage you stored inside so that you're naturally more open. Now all of a sudden you don't have to close by the intersection. You don't have to close because of slurping. You don't have to close because somebody said something. You neutralized it so that it doesn't have to get stored as something negative. If you get in the practice of doing that, you're going to find out that other stuff comes back up, bigger stuff, and you do the same thing. You remember your first husband or wife and how bad that was. And you sit there and think, instead of all this garbage and stuff going on, saying, wow, that was like a practice run. I learned a lot from that. I learned about relationships. I learned about people. It really was very educational. Difficult, but educational. No pain, no gain. Good. Then all of a sudden, the ex can come up and not bother you inside. Or if you even see them outside, you feel more open. This is spiritual work. This is more important than meditation, more important than mantra, more important than all these things. Those are practices. We call them that, right? Have you done your meditation practices? Are you practicing your mantra? They're practices. They're spiritual practices. This is spirituality. You do that so you stay conscious enough during the day to work on yourself. That's what you're doing. You're working on raising yourself. All right. I always talk at that level. So now let's go higher. So we said there's a number of different levels you can work in this world. One is if you have not woken up inside, you're going to have to struggle with the outside. Because it's going to bother you. It's going to bother you because you don't like what happened or because you want something else to happen or you didn't get what you want to get it, and you're struggling with the outside. Anybody know anything about that? And you'll do it your whole life. It'll never stop. There's always things that can happen outside that bother you. There's always going to be things that don't happen outside that you wanted to, and there are going to be things that happen outside that you want to. Bye-bye. Have a nice trip. I hope it works out. And basically the world's running you. You're not running you. Your stuff is interacting with the world, and your past stuff, your blockages, are causing you to go or come or do whatever it is. You're not in charge of yourself. That's one way of living. Second way is what we just talked about. You wake up enough to realize, wait a minute, I get to change this, not by suppressing it. I'm not going to take the way I am and push it down and make a new me. Here's version number 6. The other ones didn't work, right? No, that's not what you're doing. You're being honest inside, and you're looking to see that you have this garbage in there. And that's what's causing you to have your likes and dislikes and fears and freaks and desires and preferences and all that stuff. So you need to let it go. That's different than suppression. That's way different than suppression. That's release. And so basically when the stuff comes up during the day, you neutralize it. You work with it. You be positive. Just you figure it out. Do yoga, meditation, mantra, all of these things. The new book lays out different things that work, different techniques. Not just which ones to do, but why they work. What's the psychology and metaphysics behind why this stuff works? And if you practice it, people write me all the time about how much change has happened in their life just by practicing this stage, this level of why am I blaming the world for me being disturbed? It didn't disturb anybody else. It disturbed me. Why am I blaming everybody else or blaming God or blaming everything? So basically you start working on yourself. And I told you how. You have to go through the day. I want you to take the easy stuff first. You go through the day, minute by minute, hour by hour, and you're going to get disturbed. Go to use a stapler, and the staples are out. Oh, what the? There we go. What are you doing, man? How hard is it to put some more staples in the stapler? What do you have to create this negativity for? Because you stored so much negativity inside of you that anytime something happens is an excuse to have it come out. That's why. Because it wants to express itself. It's an excuse. You have the right to be negative. Why do you want the right to be negative? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't do anything but make you sick, get ulcers, and get messed up. It's certainly not spiritual. So you just look at it and you say, okay, I want to change. How? By going all the way down. And when the stuff comes up, relax, release, offer it up. Don't suppress it. Don't suppress it. This is not about suppression. It's about raising the energy, raising it up, instead of pushing it out of the way. And just say nice things. Like, that was really, Muktananda Baba, great master. He literally once said to his disciples, he says, the mind's not difficult to work with. Just love it to death. What do you mean love it to death? Literally. If the stapler runs out of staples and your mind starts to say something, they say, oh, you poor little thing, you really have to change the staples? Come on, I'll hold your hand. Come over here. Let's change this. Let's have fun. How much do we want to put in? Oh, you broke it too. It didn't fit. Break it again. And just have fun with yourself. Have fun. You have the right to do that. And that is spirituality. You're changing yourself at the core by not putting more stuff in. And I'm telling you, if you don't put more stuff in, the old stuff's going to come up. No, good. You don't want it in there. And when it comes up, do the same thing. Be nice to it. Offer it. Give it a kiss on the head. Welcome it. I used to tell you, and I mean it. I'm serious. If it really starts to come up and it's difficult, throw it a party. Put a hat on and blow the things. Come on up. I don't want you down there for the rest of my life. You want it down the rest of your life, screw up your whole life? No. Offer it. You have to then be willing to fall behind it, offer it, play with it, make it a game, whatever it is. Sometimes people write and they had really bad things happen to them. We've all had something, but I had really bad things. And very violent things happen. And somebody once wrote me, 20 years ago it happened. A really traumatic experience. And it won't go away. I know this is difficult to hear. While you see this as a tremendously traumatic negative experience, you will never let it go. Why? It's a terribly negative experience. How can I let it go? It's the worst thing that ever happened to me. While you're doing that, there's no way you're going to let it go. You have to be willing to say, enough. Yes, it was terrible, but it was 25 years ago. I don't want it inside of me. Then find a way to help it. Find a way to say, whoa, that was quite an experience. I'm glad it's done. It's not happening anymore. Start saying some positive stuff. I know this is difficult to hear, but if you're going to say it's not okay that it happened, you're going to keep suppressing it. You're going to keep pushing it away. You have to get to the point where you say, that's what happened. I came down to the planet Earth, and this happened to me. That's okay. I'm okay. I'm strong enough. It made me stronger. You just start bringing it up. Start bringing it positive. Do you hear me? You have to be able to do that. I don't want to tell you this. It's not that I'm not compassionate. It's because I am compassionate. I don't want that stuff inside of you. Do you? Then you have to be able to change how you're working with it. And so the more positive you can be about things, the more they're going to pass through. If you're open, they can pass through. If you're closed, they can't. All right. So that's a level of spirituality. We went a little deeper than I like to go. But you might as well hear it because it's the truth. And so you work on yourself. You work with yourself. You raise yourself. It's called transmuting the energy from something negative to something positive. Is it easy? No, but it's not as hard as carrying it inside of you. You do not want to carry that inside the rest of your life. It'll determine how much you can love your husband or wife. It'll determine how much you can love your job. It'll determine how well you do with your job. It'll determine how smart you are. You will get a different IQ score if that thing is not inside of you, because it's stealing your energy. It's distracting you. So you decide, have we done it? That's that second layer. One, you try to manipulate the world so it doesn't bother you. Two is you decide, hey, I can change me. Then it won't bother me as much. And you start working on changing you. So that's a level of spirituality. There's a whole another level that I never get to, but I like to talk about it. What's that? I'm consciousness. I'm awareness. I'm aware of what's going on inside of me. I'm aware of what's going on outside of me. What is this awareness? And you start noticing that it's being pulled down to your problems. It's being pulled down to your ego, pulled down to what you want and what you don't want. The consciousness magnetically gets pulled into the problems of the mind, the problems of the heart, the problems of the body, the problems of the world. It just really gets pulled into that stuff. And so it can't liberate itself. It can't be free. The higher state of spirituality, and I want you to get there to where that's what you're, and I can tell, just walking in here with shine in your eyes, what level you're working at. The first level, that you have ulcers. Second level, you're working with yourself. The third level, you start shining. I am love, I am light, I'm a spirit descended. You start experiencing that. So what does that mean? I want out. What do you mean you want out? I am caught in here. I am caught. I am very high consciousness. I'm capable of expanding and opening my wings and reaching to the highest possible estates. Oh my God, why can't I? Because I'm in the cage of my own psyche. I'm in the cage of my own psyche. My desires, my preferences, my fears, my hopes, my dreams, my concepts, my views, my disturbances, they just boom! They pull me and lock me right in there. And everything has to be the way I want. And I got all these problems and I just get pulled into the cage of myself. I'm locked inside the cage of myself. Do I need to be? No. No, I do not need to be. I don't need to be. My conscience does not have to get caught up in that stuff. Especially, I do it very, I like the new book. Living Untethered, I do it very slowly. I talk about the places where you're caught. And one of the ones, and I'm just going to do this one today, I'm going to do another, is the past. The past is over. If I tell you you're the highest being ever walked the face of the earth, you're just filled with joy and love and everything if you can get out of your cage. What cage? The cage of the past. That's just one enough. Why are you holding the past inside of you? It doesn't exist anymore. Show it to me. Show me you in high school. You can't. It's not there. It's all gone. Everything's gone. Life keeps moving forward. But it's not gone inside of you, is it? You stored it inside of you. And generally you stored the negative things. The things that bothered you, the things that disturbed you when you didn't get what you wanted. Well, I'm flabbergasted. You're going to give up the liberation of your consciousness, reaching up to the highest heavens and expanding into great ecstasy and joy so that you can get locked in the cage of your past because your mind locked it inside of you. And it has no meaning, nothing. It does nothing for you ever again. All it does is disturb you and bind you. That's what's holding your soul down. That's what's binding you into this. You're not bound. You're not bound. You're just staring at something that's terribly disturbing. That's meaningless. Please, you need to get the point to understand your past is meaningless. It's over. It's over. It's done. What do I care what happened? That's how you should be about your past. Don't own it. It's just something that was passing through time and space and is gone. And it's over. And I don't need to worry about it or be guilty about it or be scared about it or desire about it or be hurt about it. Or why? Why? What are you doing? And you just realize just anything it is. I don't care. You know, your mother died 20 years ago and you didn't get to say goodbye because the plane got canceled or something like that. Okay, very good. Not a fun experience, but you had the experience. It's over. It's been over for 20 years. There is nothing you can do about it. There's nothing to do now about that. But yet it's bothering you.
What do you mean it bothers me? Your consciousness gets pulled down to this thing you held inside your mind about it. Of what benefit is that to you? Or to your mother? Or to anybody? Zero. Your past is over. You got to start admitting that. It's over. I don't need to do anything about it. And I just need to at least start from the position of saying, my past should not be bothering me. Now, there's a condition in which your past should be bothering you. You hurt somebody, and you never dealt with that. You never felt remorse. You never saw why you didn't have to do that. Then you have some work to do inside yourself because you didn't grow, right? When I deal with people and they ask me questions like that, I say, let's say the same situation happened again that happened 10, 15 years ago when something happened, you didn't behave properly. Would you behave the same way right now? Invariably, they go, no, I would never. Okay, you learned. You learned. You have the right to learn. So that's how you deal with your past. If you keep it inside of you and let it bother you, not only will you be bothered, but you will not be liberated. That's the next level I'm going to talk about. Liberation. Jivan Mukta. A free soul, a liberated being. These masters, you're a very great being. You're a very great being. Nothing you ever did or didn't do has nothing to do with the greatness of your consciousness, of your being. But your consciousness is being locked inside the cage of your past. The thoughts, not your past, the thoughts of your past. Because your past does not exist anymore. I don't know anything about your past, but you're guilty about it and scared about it and you don't want to talk about it. Isn't it amazing? Don't think it doesn't matter. It does matter. Because it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter whatever. Let's say you're hiding something in your past. It doesn't mean you have to go tell everybody. It doesn't mean that. It means you need to be able to look at it and say, why are you still in there? Why are you still in there bothering me? It's not even happening anymore. And work with yourself. Learn to release. Learn to let go. Learn to raise the energies. And what will happen if you can free yourself? What does that mean, free yourself? What you have built in your mind, the cage you built in your mind out of all this negativity, is drawing your consciousness down into it, either consciously or subconsciously. So you can't be free. All you can do is try to be okay. Try to cope with the mess you made inside. That's one level of spirituality. I want you to be okay, but I want you to be way beyond okay. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to cope. It's good enough to be free. How would you like to feel from the moment you wake up in the morning, you're a free being? You're just filled with love, filled with excitement, filled with enthusiasm. I can't wait to get out of bed. I can't wait to have breakfast. I can't wait to go to work. I can't wait to go to school. I just want to express the beauty and excitement and freedom and liberation that I feel inside myself. Well, what if you feel passionate about... Now, I told you to come back to the outside. What if I feel passionate about some activist action or something outside that I feel I need to work with this? Good, but not out of hate, not out of fear, not out of anxiety. No. Out of passion, out of beauty, out of love, out of service. That's how an activist should work. So nobody's telling you don't interact with the world. At all kinds of levels you can interact, but not because you can't handle the situation. Then you're bringing garbage into the situation. But when you clean yourself up, you're going to feel passion. You're going to feel love. You're going to feel inspiration. You become a leader. People will follow you because you're bringing all this beautiful energy and bring about constructive change. Do you see the difference? So it's not that you don't interact with the world. It's not that you don't get married, not that you don't have children, not that you don't be an activist, not that you don't be a chemist or an engineer. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with why you're doing it. I'm going to be a doctor, a surgeon, so I can make lots and lots of money and then quit when I'm young. That's ridiculous. Versus I feel passionate to help people. I want to help people. I want to do research and find out how to work with spinal cords and things that people think can't be taken care of. This is so exciting. I can't wait to get to work. There. Yeah, I want you as my doctor or as my teacher or as my nurse or as my engineer or as my garbage man. I don't care. I want that beautiful being bringing beautiful energy into the world. How do you do that? Free yourself from the bondage of yourself. You have built this personal psyche, this ego that has preferences and hopes and dreams and fears and desires and gets all upset, and it's all based on your past. And so you look inside and you just stored your past in there and it's running everything. Little by little, let it go. Let it go when it comes up. Well, what will happen to me? Because that's identify myself with my past. I'm the one who played Dorothy in 5th grade, and I'm the one who did this. I'm the one who got married to so-and-so, but then we didn't get along, so we got divorced. I'm this, I'm that. What are you? You're defining yourself by what happened to you. Who did it happen to? Me. Well, then define yourself as me. Do you see the difference? You are not what happened to you. If something else happened, you'd still be you. It would just be that happened to you. You are the consciousness, the indwelling being. And different events take place, and then they're over. But they're not over for you. You literally defined yourself. I was a beauty queen in 5th grade. Okay. You're defining yourself by the events that happened to you. Who did they happen to? Who's in there experiencing the events? That's who you are. And you can liberate yourself from the bondage of your mind, the bondage of your heart. It's not that your mind's a great thing. It can study and do research and go into outer space and build the Webb telescope. And it can do all kinds of things, creative and intellectual. But this thing you did with your mind to build a little cage in there and define yourself, called your self-concept, define yourself by the things that happened to me. No, that's not who you are. When you can let go of that, now it's a whole other stage. First we were talking about letting go of the negativity. Now you're letting go of this thing you built in there, this false concept of yourself. And what will happen, as you let it go, you will come back naturally to a seat inside that you didn't know was there. It's called the seat of self, the seat of consciousness, the witness. You're just in there, conscious, and you're noticing all the stuff that you used to get involved in. Somebody says something to you. Right, the story I used to tell, I like this story. John plays the guitar after Sunday services. He's a very good guitarist, was professional at some point. And he leaves his guitar, let's say. And you walk in there, you never touched the guitar in your life. You see the guitar and then you pick it up, you're putzing around, you're doing a thing, right? You're trying to play something. And some people walk in and they stand behind the curtain a little bit and they're listening to you. And they come out and say, wow, you are really good. How long have you played? I just picked it up. Really? You're kidding. No, I just picked up the guitar first time. You're a prodigy. That's just unbelievable. Then they walk out. Then somebody else walks in while you're playing. They said, oh my God, that's John's guitar. Don't touch it. You don't even know how to play. I do so. How long does it take before the ego owns the thing? I do so. I'm a prodigy. They just said so. You're defining yourself by an event that took place. Oh my God. You do it all the time. Both negative and positive. You get a C in your math class in 5th grade. I'm not good at math. For the rest of your life, all school, I'm not good at math. I'm just not good at math. I'm good at English. Whoa, 1 score, 1 grade, and this is how you define yourself. You do it all the time, both positive and negative. Guess what you are? None of those. You're the person that had the experience. So you start centering back on you, on the nature of self, which is consciousness. And what's going to happen, you keep letting go of these things you used to find yourself as. So somebody criticizes you and you say, yeah, you're probably right. Who cares? Let it go, let it go. Somebody compliments you and you just sit there, thank you. And you walk away, you don't own it. It has nothing to do with it. This person compliments, that person criticizes. Isn't it fun? Why? You're not owning any of it. You're owning, I'm the person who heard you say that. So I'm the consciousness that's aware of what's going on. As you let go, a whole nother level of spirituality opens up to you, which is, wow, this is nice in here. It's nice not to get pulled down into that personal garbage. The more it opens, you start feeling more joy and love and openness welling up from inside of you. You're going to understand there's a river of joy that flows inside of you. Go there, get in, drown. Be with that. There is a river of joy. It's always flowing, but you're leaving it to get involved in your garbage. Now you're not just working with being okay. Now you're realizing, hey, I can be more than okay. I can be free. I can be liberated. It's called liberation. I can be a free being. And then it pulls you further up. And the more it pulls you up, the easier it is to let go of that garbage. People sometimes ask, how do spiritual teachers, really high, clear spiritual teachers, how do they know what they know? Because they're in there looking at it. What happened? How do you know if I let go of my ego that I'll feel this tremendous love? Just try it. Just give it time. As you let it go, it's going to raise up. But through experience, not through reading books And eventually it pulls you up far enough inside where you realize, I'm the one who's looking at that stuff down there. Why? It seems to get along quite well without me. In fact, better. Your ego is better off without you. Because right now, you have to own it and do everything and defend yourself and worry about it and think about how people think of you. If you're not doing that inside, it doesn't have to do all that. Your lower self loves your higher self. When your higher self gets free, your lower self starts to reach up for it, for solace. It says, oh, that hurt me. And oh, but there's joy up here. And all of a sudden you start going up and up and up and up. And there's no end to how high it can go. It can go, you saw the Webb telescope pictures, it can go that big. It can expand out into the whole universe. That's who you are. You're a very great being. That's the next level of spirituality. There, I ran out of time. That's what I wanted to talk about. There's different levels of your growth. Get to work. You're a very great being. Do not marry yourself to that stuff you stored inside your mind, especially your past. And the more you're willing to work it through, let it go, do whatever you need, the more you're going to find out you have wings. You can really soar to great, beautiful, high places and then bring that down to everybody. Work on yourself. Jai Gurudev.